सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ओम शांति शांति शांति. ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. अखिल भुवन जन्मस्थेम भंगादिलीले विनत विविध भूत व्रात रक्षैकदीक्षे श्रुति शिरसि विदीप्ते ब्रह्मणे श्रीनिवासे भवतु मम परस्मिन् शेमुषी भक्तिरूपा भवतु मम परस्मिन् शेमुषी भक्तिरूपा. श्रीमाधवङ्घ्रिजलजद्वयजित्यसेवा प्रेमा विलासय पराङ्कुशपादभक्तं कामादिदोषहरमात्मपदाश्रितानां रामानुजं रामानुजं यतिपतिं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना. ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः. भक्तामृतं विश्वजनानुमोदनं सर्वार्थदं श्रीशतकोपवाङ्मयं सहस्रशाखोपनिषत्समागमं नमाम्यहं द्रविडवेदसागरं नमाम्यहं द्रविडवेदसागरम्. ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीमते रामानुजाय नमः. नम्माळ्वार दिव्य तिरुवडिगळे शरणं. Welcome you all to the afternoon Goshti of Sripravachanagoshthi. This is coming to you from Chicago, US, and this is the time, in the afternoon time. We felt let us now do something in English. And evening Goshti, we are having the Tiruvaimuzhi, Koil Tiruvaimuzhi. We are having that in Telugu language. That. And some of the things which we sometimes feel it should be in English so that it can reach to the people. This English being the international language, and many really get the opportunity and benefit for this. What is the purpose of all these the classes, or you can say these are the particular sessions? What for we are? Just to express our gratitude. So when we express our gratitude towards everything we receive, we improve the quality of our living standards. Most of you know that. When we express our gratitude towards everything we receive, we improve the quality of our living standard. That is Jivanam Ujjivanam. In this context, I remember, most of you know Bhagavad Gita. Most of you heard about the name, and also it is Bhagavad Gita is a celestial song we call in English. And this the first word spoken by Krishna, the first-hand information we also say. The first-hand information and the first word came directly from Sri Krishna. There is the Godhead. And most of our things are Nammalvars. This full month is Nammalvar's Tirunakshatra Vaibhavam. Tirunakshatram is on 4th of June. Now coming to in another few days. And we started this one because it is the month in lunar calendar, it is Jyeshta Masam. So when the Jyeshta Masam started, we started praising Nammalvar's Vaibhavam, that is the greatness. When we always think about Nammalvar's thing, we always think about his writings, his works, we can say that is Tiruvaimozhi. That we are doing in English, we are doing in Telugu language in the evening. Now we just want to say, when you know that Bhagavad Gita, Nammalvar also mentions that a purport of the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Bhagavad Gita teachings. And so the Charama Sloka we call in Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, Sloka 66. Lord Krishna himself spoke to Arjuna and says, I shall give you protection from all the resultant action of your sinful life. What he say? Oh Arjuna, it is not only for Arjuna alone. It is through Arjuna to all of us. So I shall give you protection from all the resultant actions of your sinful life. That is fate changed. That is fate changed. You agree with me? Yes. It is the Krishna's word, it is not anyone's. Then we surrender to Krishna and express our thanks, we can say express our gratitude to Lord Krishna, who takes the charge of squaring up all our sinful activities and their reaction. So that's why Nammalvar says, let us surrender to Krishna. Let us surrender to Krishna. That's why his name is Krishna Trishna Tatparata is Nammalvar's Bhavana. Prema Bhavana is Krishna Trishna Tatparata. So, and also many more things we remember when we always think about Bhagavad Gita. And this Bhagavad Gita gives us Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhu ma te sangoshva karmani. These are all the things when we remember. Bhagavad Ramanujacharya has taken the Vishishtadvaita Siddhantam totally based on Nammalvar's Tiruvaimozhi and other works. Nammalvar's Tiruvaimozhi and other works. Now we just want to have some glimpses of what is Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam and what all the things one has to understand when we always say that Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, or we can say Sri Sampradayam. In the other way, Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam or Sri Sampradayam or Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta Sampradayam, all the names we have there. This Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam is very close to the heart of Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. This Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam, which has become, what it says? It says, it has close affinity to reality, experience and authority. Bhagavad Ramanuja's, this Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya Pratishtha, that is Vishishtadvaita Siddhantam, is very close affinity to reality, experience and authority. This has become the refuge not only of the common people but of acharyas, who are the repositories of knowledge. Here, having foundation the Shastras, laying faith and emphasis on the philosophy taught by our acharyas, leading one's life in a disciplined manner, doing lustrously good things and adapting correct way of religious practices of this Vaishnava, Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, for making a person to be redeemed and wishing to seek knowledge of the self. The good teachings of Acharyas are no doubt a help, but his religious practices are the principal help. Here the word when I use this one, the religious practices. So some people think that this religious practice alone will help to correct others. Yes, it is correct. The religious practices, what you observe alone, will help to correct others. At the same time, one has to keep in mind, Jnanan mokshaha is the saying in the Shastras, it is said, Jnanat mokshaha. It does not mean that knowledge alone leads to liberation. Remember, it is inappropriate to think that in this way, or to teach to that effect also. Knowledge which is covered or accompanied by religious practices, or you can say jnanam and anushtanam. The anushtanam is a word, is the practices. These religious practices alone will cause liberation. One may lack knowledge, but following the religious practices of the proper acharya will be the cause of liberation, will be the cause for liberation. These practices, what we do regularly, you can say religious practices, you can say rituals, you can say, are the ideal for others and lead to his own good and good of others. Lead to his own good and good of others. This is the usual way we always say that. Here, the word religious practices. Nowadays, in this modern times, if you say religious practices, nobody comes forward. Nobody is ready to do any practice also. We know that, isn't it? But here, the meaning one has to understand, the religious practice does not mean the observance of a large number of yajnas or yagas or Vedic practices. It means rendering in a selfless manner the service in a selfless manner. Whatever service, we call that in Sanskrit, we can call it as kaimkaryam. Whatever service, kaimkaryam, will be pleased to Lord or pleasing to the Lord and Bhagavatas. Who are these Bhagavatas? Bhagavatas are all the devotees who always in the service of Lord. So directly to Lord, directly in the service, whatever service you do, kainkaryam, will be pleasing to the Lord and the Bhagavatas, and to do as instructed by our acharyas. It is the Lord, it is the, you can say Bhagavan, who gives liberation. What pleases is the service we render him. What pleases is the service we render him. But what pleases him even more is service we render to the acharyas and the Bhagavatas. That means it is the one we always say, the service we render to him always makes him to feel happy. And also the most important thing is, what pleases him most is the service we render to the acharyas and to Bhagavatas. It is said in our Shastram, Mama madbhakta bhakteshu pritirabhyatika abhyadhika bhaved. Mama madbhakta bhakteshu pritihi abhyadhika bhavet. This great secret was known to our ancient acharyas. We should also know that. Our acharya, what he says? Mad bhakta bhakteshu pritihi abhyadhika bhavet. That was the word of Lord Bhagavan. Bhagavan himself says that. That's why this secret they know, our Purvacharyas know this secret, so they are really happy life they are leading. Then what about us? They gave greater emphasis to the service to be rendered to Acharyas and Bhagavatas than to the ritual service to be rendered to Bhagavan. Ritual service to be rendered to Bhagavan, but they were doing the services to Acharyas and Bhagavatas. They realized that a mere samasrayanam, mere I am telling, I did samasrayanam, we got the samasrayanam. What that samasrayanam means also some of them never know that, the meaning or its purpose and how one has to feel about. No. In one instance, I had some experience with, it is good, but they were telling, adiyen, adiyen. Once I asked somebody who said adiyen, do you know the meaning of adiyen? And you say adiyen, I appreciate, because it is, no, it is given by our elders, asked me to do, then we are doing, we don't know the meaning. Is that the way to do that one? That is the, adiyen is a word. We are at the feet of, lotus feet of Bhagavan. We bow down to the lotus feet of Bhagavan. When you do not know the meaning, simply saying, okay, saying also I agree that at least you are listening to your elders. Even it is not your fault. It is the elders' fault. They should have explained you or asked you to know the meaning. So in the same way, some of the rituals which service to be rendered, they realize that a mere samasrayanam or surrender to the Lord, which has no connection with the Bhagavatas and the Acharyas, they take the mind, they forget, is worthless, like a samasrayanam to one that God. If the Yamanacharya says in the beginning of the Stotra Ratnam, how one has to respect their Acharyas. Who is the Yamanacharya's Acharya? Is Natha Muni, the one who is. Bhuyo namo aparimita achyuta. These are the same. He says, Natha Munaye atra paratra chapi nityam yadiya charanau saranam madiyam. This Yamanacharya, the Paramacharya of Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, says in his Stotra Ratnam. It is Stotra Ratnam. This is the gem among the stotras. This particular sloka means that in this world and in the next world, the feet of our Paramacharya, Sri Natha Muni, alone are my essential support. This is Yamanacharya's words in Stotra Ratnam. And at the end of the stotram, again, at the beginning he expressed his gratitude and like expressing thanks. We have actually Thanksgiving days and many special days we have. That is actually to focus our mind, to remember. That is a part of your life. Thanksgiving is. And also anything, when you ask a small kid, the first thing they teach is only to say thank you. This particular behavior we have to remember and do towards our acharyas, towards our Bhagavatas, fellow men, we can say. We have to do that. This is so Paramacharya Nathamuni at the end, Stotra, he says, Pita Maham Nathamunim Bilokya. This is very Prasida Matruttamachintya. This is the may the Sri Nathamuni, whose feet are fit to be express one's devotion, shower his grace on me in the middle of the, and that means if Lord wants to bless me, don't look at all my mistakes and all them. Look at my grandfather. That was the Nathamuni in the Yamunacharya's beautiful way of saying. That means, I bow down to my grandfather, who was my respected teacher, from whom I got all this knowledge. In the same way, Tavadasya Sukhaika Sanginam Bhavaneshvasya Kita Janmame. This is also another expression in the middle of this stotra. Yamunacharya gives that where he prays that he should be born at least as in some form in the house of a great devotees who regard service to the Lord alone as the greatest of bliss. So in this way, Yamunacharya expresses his gratitude, and that was Stotra Ratnam. It became the stotra. It's not a normal stotra, it became a Stotra Ratnam, because it teaches us how to express gratitude towards our elders, towards our fellow men, towards our from whom you receive something. It is your duty to express something or to do some service. This one. Sakrutvadakara vilokanashaya trunekrutanutama bhukti muktibhi mahatmabhirmamavalokyataam naya kshanepite yadviraho atidussaha. This Stotra Ratnam of Yamunacharya is not only in the southern part of India, but all over India, even right from Ase to Himachalam. So it is known to many Pandits and many scholars have appreciated this Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's Paramacharya, Yamunacharya's work, Stotra Ratnam. In this he says, Sakrutvad Akara Vilokana Nasya Trunekrutan Uttama Bhukti Mukti Bhim. That your great devotees are those who, with the desire to at least once to have darshan of your divine form. This is the even Nammalvar's. When you look into that Tiruvayamozhi, when you know the meaning, though I am giving those things in Telugu, I appreciate if I could give. If Perumal permits me to give it in English, really it reaches to each and everyone. So now let me first do in Telugu, that is my mother tongue, and then we try to do in the maybe by next year. Let us hope everything goes smooth. So here, the great devotees are those who, with the desire to at least once to have darshan of your divine form, they always reject the wealth and even they reject the moksha also. They don't, because they are only desired to at least once to have your darshan. This is the Nammalvar's feeling in the same way. You also feel that being near to them is your great wealth and do not wish to be separated from them even for a moment. This is the when you really feel close with Perumal or Bhagavan, this feeling comes to you when you are really immersed, because Alvars are immersed in. They are immersed in devotion. The deep dive they did in the devotion, the ocean of devotion. That's why they could fetch the Ratnams, Ratnakara. The ocean, in the normal way, Ratnakara. Ocean has contained gems. So here, with the ocean of devotion, they could give us all the gems. And that's why Alvar's works are so highly applauded and praised by many. Please ensure that the great devotees' kind glances are turned towards me at least once. To be the recipient of their love is my greatest wish. These are all Yamunacharya's words. It is not remarkable that one should pray to the Lord that the grace of the great devotee should be showered on one. When Sri Yamunacharya, who was the Paramacharya of Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, had indicated his devotion to the Acharya in this manner. What is there to say about the glory of the service to the Bhagavatas and Acharyas? These are like we always take them as role models. So that's why Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, the purport of the Stotra Ratnam and the purport of Tiruvaymuzi is formed as the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya Tattvam, or you can say the Vishishtadvaita Siddhantam. Here, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya accepts, and also Nammalvar, when in the Tiruvaymuzi also, Bhagavan is totally independent. There is no limitation on his independence, even though he has ocean of mercy. At times he may reject the prayer of a devotee. This was all the time given in our Purvacharyas also have this feeling. At times he may even redeem a worthless, curd seller, that is Dadibanda Vrittantam, we already discussed earlier in this thing. And did not the Lord reject the prayer of Bharata? The Bharata who took almost the retinue of, royal retinue with all the Ayodhya, Puravasi, and mothers, Acharya, even the gurus, Vashishta, Vamadeva, Jabali, and many more accompanied Bharata. Even by seeing them at least, Rama definitely will pardon him, and also he will accept his surrender. When you do surrender, these are all the things. It's all up to Bhagavan. It is not. That's why a devotee who is turning to the Lord for the first time should doubt whether the Lord would save him or punish him for the past sins. These are all, it always comes, the feeling comes in our mind. Hence, our elders, our Purvacharyas, you can say elders if I say, our Purvacharyas have formally concluded that a sentient being who seeks a good Acharya, who serves him well and becomes the recipient of his love, will undoubtedly be redeemed. The essence of the teaching in books like Sri Vaishnava and many others like that. So, and also there are many more things like Vedanta Desika also gives in the storehouse of the knowledge and renunciation in the Nyasa Tilaka. There is one Nyasa Tilakam. So there are many more examples which we do not want to go in detail because we have to some practice. Here, this Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's, when we think about all our acharyas, especially Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's, they were very single-minded and devoted in their protection and propagation of the Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam. The desire and aim of the acharyas were that in future also this Sampradaya should prosper and flourish in a universal way. Universal way, we always say, Vishwa Manava Saubhratrutvam was the Vishwa Manava Saubhratrutvam, the universal brotherhood of the Vishishtadvaitas, the teachings always say. That means, the very interesting, we always, selfless services, it leads us to have the Vishwa Manava Saubhratrutvam that we say. And their devotion and indefatigable efforts are outstanding. Not only did they lead their lives in a disciplined manner, but they ensured that their disciples also followed their practices. We can say disciples, or we can say the Bhagavatas, those who always come and listen, all these things, follow their practices. And the Shishya, the Guru Shishya Sambandham, or the Shishya Acharya Sambandham, we can say, had full faith in their teachers or gurus. Now Guru Purnima is coming, Vyasa Purnima. So the full moon, the coming full moon is the Vyasa Purnima, and then we have to link up. Close to them was itself great when they felt that the life of the teacher was drawing to a close while they could not bear even the thought of separation. This is Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's context we are talking about. Acharya, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, who was an embodiment of a truly selfless life, once did Sashtanga Danda Pranamam with great distress to Lord Ranganatha at Srirangam at the age of 120 years of Ramanujacharya. He approached Lord Ranganatha in Srirangam, and after totally surrendering, having lost Amen, he said, Bhagavan Ramanuja prayed that he had served the Lord for nearly 120 years and that it was time for him to complete his sojourn in the world. The Ranganatha replied that he was the controller of time because he got the Ubhaya Vibhuti Nayaka. Bhagavad Ranganatha granted the boon that he is the Ubhaya Vibhuti Nayaka. What does it mean that you are the controller of time? Ranganatha tells him. And that through Ramanuja he had proposed to uplift them. And Ranganatha added. Ranganatha spoke to Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. And Ramanuja had indeed done great service to the world. So as he asked, it is his duty to fulfill his desire. So that 4 days from then he would attain moksham. From the day he asked, the 4th day, that means 4 days from then, he would attain moksham. Ramanuja prayed that. Not only he, this is the Ramanuja's great thing, not only for Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, but all his followers, whoever follow, that means all his followers, should attain moksham at the end of their life. Once they finish the karma bandham, then once they reach, then they should be given moksham. That was the prayer Bhagavad Ramanujacharya asked Ranganatha. So Bhagavad Ramanujacharya had such a kind disposition towards his followers, towards his fellow men. These are all very interesting. We are so selfish, we always think about ourselves or our family. Our own kitchen. What about the entire universe? That's why global outlook we always say. Bhagavad Ramanujacharya teachings are applicable even today. Almost all parts of the world, not only in one particular country or particular, no. Because it is for a human being. Whoever is, consider themselves as human beings and listen to Ramanuja's teachings. So this is a common thing which Bhagavad Ramanujacharya gave, he said. So whoever follow, they all will be liberated. Moksha means the liberation of the soul from all these clutches of this life and death, the cycle. So once they are able to come out of this cycle, that is called moksham. So Bhagavad Ramanujacharya asked Ranganatha to grant him that particular boon for all of us. That's why we are all really happy. And because we already got the boon from our Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, and who did for ourselves, and only our duty is only to follow him, that's all. And to praise him, to express gratitude to him for all the things what he has done. This is what these classes are only for that purpose. So Nammalvar's this thing in Bhagavad, when you say it is the Nammalvar who gave this Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's Bhavishyat Acharya Murti to Natha Muni, and from there to Yamunacharya. Then Yamunacharya recognized Bhagavad Ramanujacharya with that in Kanchipuram when he visited. Then he immediately, Yamunacharya said to his close disciples that Ramanujacharya would be the next one. Then who the one who takes the seat next to him? That is, after Yamunacharya, this Ramanuja Peetham, that is Vishishtadvaita Peetham, was taken by Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. After Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, it was Parasara Bhattar. So like that, it keep on going on and on. So here, when Ramanujacharya returned to his mutt, told all his disciples that henceforth he would not be given any more new religious discourses, and delivered his nectarian great but final discourses covering some secret meanings on which he had never ever before given a discourse. The disciples were wondering of this great lecture wherein the teacher was transmitting to them several secret meanings of philosophical truths. And then they asked why. Unasked, the great Guru was showering them with this great lecture. They sought a clarification from their Guru. But Ramanujacharya did not wish to conceal his date of departure from that life, from this life. So the followers were overwhelmed with grief. They start when the moment they heard after the fourth day of this, he is going to Acharya Tiruvadi Paramapadam. He is going to reach. Some decided to immediately to end their life. Immediately, that was the love for Acharya. And Bhagavad Ramanujacharya again sent for all the disciples, dissuaded them from taking extreme steps. He added that he was swearing on the feet of the word Yamunacharya to state that if any of his followers do any such things, he would be severing the Guru-Shishya relationship. Be careful, don't do such things. You may be having definitely love for me, but such things, ending up life and all the things is not at all appreciated by Bhagavad Ramanujacharya. So they stopped that one. Then the disciples pleaded that without his divine presence and without listening to his spiritual lectures, their life is waste, they were telling. That was the beauty, love and feeling. So it would be, better to fall into it. They were telling Ramanujacharya consoled them and laid them out some important principles they should follow in their life. Among the various Vedas and Shastras, there are about 5 important things that today we know about those 5 important things of Bhagavad Ramanujacharya's teachings. And these are all, we can say, like a last lecture. The last lecture with his disciples, he said, these are the 5 that we know, and then we come to the Mukundamala, which we are every day we are learning 1 sloka or maybe 2 slokas, something like that. So among the various Vedas, Shastras and Divya Prabandhams of all wars, and in the principles enunciated by the Acharyas, there is nothing else other than the Dvaya Mantra, which needs to be regularly repeated by those who are seeking liberation. Because he already got the boon from Ranganatha. All his followers will definitely reach liberation, reach moksha. So Bhagavad Ramanujacharya said, yes, you are, as per the Ranganatha agreed to liberate all this. So, but you have to, Ramanujacharya as the last word, as you can say last lecture, said, please till the last breath, you keep doing the Dvaya Mantram. Srimannarayana Charanau Saranam Prapadye Srimate Narayana Namaha. This mantra in 2 parts, which needs to be repeated at all times. Srimannarayana Charanau Saranam Prapadye one part, and Srimate Narayanaya Namaha. These are, and the second one he said, you must realize that there is no other Bhagavan or no other Lord to be sought than the Lord expounded in the above mantra. What is the Dvaya mantram and what is this Tirumantram and Charmaslokam? Whom itself is Sriman Narayana. So in the above mantra, that is Dvaya mantram, this Lord Lakshmi Narayana, Sriman Narayana. And the third one, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya says, there is no other service we need to do than the daily service to the divine couple. So daily service we have to offer to the Nitya Seva, Nitya Kainkaryam. And the fourth one, believe that there is no other way of seeking liberation than seeking a good Acharya and becoming his trusted disciple. Becoming his trusted disciple, or you can say the Shishya. The fifth one, that is the last one, Bhagavad Ramanujacharya said to his devotees, said to his Shishyas, you need to note that there is nothing more inimical to attaining liberation than ill-treating Bhagavatas. You have to lead your life very carefully to ensure that any such ill-treatment does not take place, following which you will have a spiritual fall. Please listen carefully as to what is the ill-treatment of Bhagavatas. Or you can say Bhagavatas means devotees. There are 12 types in which such prohibited treatment may take place. That he, Ramanujacharya, tells that the reference of birth, or reference of the body, or reference of the age, to ashrama, or that is we call stage of life, or about the body limbs, or even place of birth, or in the about the health, or even the relationship, a reference to reputation, a reference to the work, and reference to the profession, and also at the last reference to the deficiencies. So one must lead one's life without giving place for these 12 apacharams. So we should not blame for any reason, for the above reasons actually they say, but any other reason also, we should not blame the devotees for any reason. So these are the one today we did, and tomorrow we will do some more. But he said about the, like when we do, Parasara Bhatta says, Amaryada Kshudraha Chalamatihi Asuya Prasababhu Krutagno Durmane Smara Paravasa Vanchana Paraha Nasimsaha Papishtaha Kadamahamato Maho Dukha Jalade Aparaduttirnaha Tava Parichireyam Chiranayo. This particular sloka we have to remember daily, and when you do your prayer, we have to. This gives us a humble behavior, in a sort of humility we will have. Now come to the Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. The Mukundamala, when we do, and there is always, before that, when we are discussing about Nammalvar's Tiruvayumozhi details and all the things, yesterday we did the first mantra of Ishavacha Upanishad, and the second one we also discussed. Kurvanne, that we always say, Om Purnamidam Purnamadaha Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Ishavasyam Idagum Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunditha Magrudhakasya Sridhanam. That was the first mantram, and the second one also we discussed. Kurvanne veha karmani जिजीविषेशतगुं समाः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्मा लिप्यते नरे. Now today we let us know that third mantram. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasa vrutah tamste pretyabhigachanti eke chatmahano janah. This particular third mantra in the Isavasya Upanishad. In this Upanishad, there are only 18 mantras. 18 is the number for victory. Victory over evil. So we have always wanted to have some victory. Everyone wanted to. Victory is the one. Now this mantra deals with the troubles and befall one if after knowing the independence of Bhagavan and the dependence of the self, one does not, with the threefold renunciation, follow the prescribed rites, which are parts of Bhakti Yoga, by emphasizing the bad effects. If you are not following, that's why we always impose discipline. The discipline is very important. If you are not done any such things, parts of Bhakti Yoga, by emphasizing the bad effects, the mantra reiterates your duties enjoined on a person in observing and prescribed rites. What he says? Eke cha, whosoever, this one. And here it starts with Eke cha atmano janah. Atmanaha, as was stated earlier, not having the knowledge of truth, of discharging the prescribed rites and destroying the self. Janaha, these are the one who in the samsaram, though always go in the cycle of births and deaths. They, such people, pretya, means after leaving the body, that means after death, andhena tamasa vrita, surrendered by dense darkness, asura nama, asurya nama, experienced by those having demonic, asuric qualities, hence called asurya, asuri. Te loka, all such worlds that there are, tan abhigachanti, they will attain such worlds. These are all the, what will the condition of the soul when you have not practiced anything. Also sometimes even if you practice, if they are not in the right manner, if you have not practiced, these are all the difficulties that soul has to face. That was. So they always say this slokam in the Taittiriya Upanishad, asanneva sabhavati asad brahmeti vedachet asti brahmeti chet asantam enam tato viduhu. That in this particular mantra means that one who has the knowledge about Brahman, that is Parabrahman, is praised by the great people as a Satpurusha, a noble person. While a person who has no such knowledge is regarded as Dushta. Satpurusha and Dushpurusha, what we call them? Dushta, or you can say. See, Dushpurusha we never said, but Dushta. Those who do not acquire such knowledge destroy their Atma. They always destroy their individual self. They are therefore called Atma Hanaha. Hana means, Hanti means the one who kills, almost I can say the word. So who destroys. They have been describing by Vedavyasa in Udyoga Parva of Mahabharatam. Yonyatha santamatmanam anyatha pratipadyate kim tena nakrutam papam chorenatma paharina. Vedavyasa regarded Atmahana. Atmahana means the one who, in this particular sloka in Mahabharatam, they are what we call as great sinners One who, forgetting that he is absolutely dependent on Bhagavan or Ishvara, thinks to be independent of him, is self-stealing, Atma Pahari. Such a person has an evil power equal to the sum total of the evils of a person with all sins. Because all the sins he is performing by thinking and a wrong way of thinking. Such people will not be following the divinely ordained shastric rites. Such people, after they leave the body, will fall into a densely dark, hellish world called Asuri Loka, we say. After experience the effect of their sinful deeds, they will be reborn into samsara. Because of the sins, when the experience of that finished, then they will reborn again. They never receive, they never go to liberation or moksha. So the Asurya has been referred to as Ananda in the Brahmananda system. Here, they indicate that these are all the, for safety, it is the Vedam always instructs us, do this. If you don't do, these are all the punishments you are going to get. This is like a, see, it is like a Prabhutvam. Prabhupada always instructs certain things. If you follow, your life goes smooth. If you don't follow, immediately you have to face the punishments and all the things. This is the same thing. So here the Ishavasya Upanishad, the third mantra says, follow those and renunciation with the threefold renunciation, follow the prescribed rites which are parts of Bhakti Yoga. And also this particular mantra emphasizes the bad effects if you don't follow your duties and enjoined on a person is observing the prescribed rites. So those things that we discuss tomorrow, we do that, the fourth mantram, that is about the nature of Atma, the nature of the soul. And because in the extraordinary power of Bhagavan, the extraordinary power of Bhagavan or Ishvara, the supporter of everything, who had been given here, who had been described here, who had been glorified here in this, in the first mantra, and here in the fourth mantra they are explaining. The Vedam is explaining the fourth mantra this way. Anejadekam manaso javiyo nainadeva apnuvan purvamarshat taddhavato anyanatyeti tishtan. Is mitra, api matarisva dadhati. Here, tomorrow we are going to do this particular mantra 4 of Ishavasya Upanishad. Now let us do this Mukunda Mala, which is just only for the Bhakti Yogam. It is for total devotion, which Nammalvar is totally immersed in devotion. This Mukunda Mala also makes us to have some devotion in our day-to-day life also, so that we can realize our responsibilities and all those things. Now come to the sloka which we did. Sixth one we did, seventh one we did, eighth one we have come. Then we have come to the 10th one. 9th one also we did. Karacharana Saruje. Yesterday it was like a lake description. Today we are doing the 10th one. Sarasi janayane sasankha chakre murabhitima viramasva chittarantum sukhatarama param najatu jane haricharana smarana amrutena tulyam. Yesterday we had that fellow human being, the course he has adopted to achieve it, that we discussed. Kulasekhara Alvar speaks from personal experience of such a happiness, bliss, from the lake Hari Sarasi Vigahya Apiya Tejo Jalahu. Now coming to the, when he already got the Bhagavan's Sakshatkaram, I can say, Sarasijanayane sasankhatekre. He is visualizing Krishna with all sankham and chakram, and Sarasijanayane, and with all the lotus eyes, beautiful eyes. Murabhidi. Mura is the demon, and who destroyed the Mura? The demon. Ma viramasvachittarantum. This is very interesting. Murabhidi. Ma viramasvachittarantum. Sukhatarama param najatu jane haricharana smarana amrute natulyam. Here he says, Lord Krishna's lotus feet, without allowing any aberration to stray away from it, the exercise yields happiness that he says no other means can provide equal happiness. Kulasekhara Alva, the saintly poet, speaks from personal experience of this bliss, and so cautions his mind against swerving from this practice. Chitta, this swachit ma virama. That means this ma virama, don't stop thinking of Lord. So long he has allowed his mind, to have in its own way. We also do the same. For how many lives we have gone, and how much freedom we have given to our mind, let it think what the way it want to go. But once you have come to the devotional discipline, we need to have that one, a discipline we have to give to the mind. So in its turn, it has given liberty to the senses to run after pleasures which class their fancy, but very soon they become disgusting when they go beyond the point of, satiety. We call actual satisfaction is done. Once you eat some sweets, after you love them, you like them, and you eat. In spite of that, it may cause some bad health also, it may cause something. But still, even if you want to eat, at saturated point we say, at some state, we say, no, I don't need, you love so much, take. No. But that is for the material happiness, always have a trend. But where about the spiritual happiness, spiritual ending? There's no ending at all. So the mind is exhorted to stop further pursuit of such pleasures. The process repeats itself, craze or new diversions, followed by many other reasons. They are because of earthy nature. We always say that one, Parthiva Shakti, Prithvi Shakti, Parthiva Shakti. So they are only limited scope only. But now that Kulasekhara Alvar had tasted the nectarine or bliss or Brahmanandam resulting from constant meditation on Lord's lotus feet, Krishna's lotus feet, he addresses his mind with fondness and requests it to not to give up waywardness and establish permanence through its loving attachment to the Lord's feet. Here, Kulasekhara Alvar had indulged in but mind is always indulgent in many sorts of pleasures and all those things. In brief, he says, Kulasekhara Alvar has demanded the mind to give up pursuing them, all the worldly things, all the limited happiness things, all stop them, he says. Now the mischievous mind enquires whether it should switch on to another pleasure, yielding diversion, because mind cannot remain stable. Mind always wanted to go on. It needs some action. It needs something to occupy. That's why ideal mind is devil's home, we always say. That's why mind should be occupied with some work or other. So if you say don't do that, then it says, what is the next one? What else where I have to engrave myself? Then Kulasekhara Alvar, he entreats it not to change gears. This course has been providing supreme bliss, not made available so far by other pursuit of worldly nature. By worldly nature you never got this happiness, but now this is a divine nature of the Krishna's lotus feet, the beautiful feet of Krishna. The devotee thinks of other fascinating features of Krishna, his eyes, the resembling lotuses in bloom, and his strong arms adorned with powerful weapons like the bright conch and the dazzling discus. There is Sankham and Chakram. The Chakram is called Sudarshanam and Sankham we call Panchajanyam. The Sudarshana Panchajanyams, and his eyes radiate love. And his delicious glances comfort the virtuous and in distress. When you are in difficulties, only look at or think of it. That's why even looking at is a different thing. In your mano netram, you are there and your thought immediately when it goes to Krishna, it immediately makes us feel happy. So his conch shatters the hearts of evil elements with its thunderous notes, and his discus, that is the Kanchi, the Panchajanyam, discus is the Sudarshanam, affects whole the devastation of demon hordes with its dazzling fiery sparks and all those things. So they reflect his supreme martial prowess. This was, when you look into Krishna, we immediately, Sudarshana Panchajanyam is always with him. That is in Nammalvar also. In Tiruvaimushi, that also we come to that Parsuram. So the Sudarshana and Panchajanya, he praises. They are there to protect Lord himself. You know that? That was the love for Nammalvar's love for Lord, Bhagavan, Perumal. So then Lord himself says, no, Nammalvar, you needed to worry about me, don't worry. I have my Sudarshanam and I have my Panchajanyam there. So it is to protect his devotees and also to protect him from any other evil things not to attack. So here he addresses the Murabhidi, the destroyer of demon Mura. Mura is the lieutenant of Narakasura. Naraka was the demon, and he has provided the impregnable fort of Pragjyotisha with an unapproachable armor of sharp arrows projecting on all sides to a distance of almost few miles, that Pragjyotisha Puram. Here with his 7,000 sons, keeps an alert God to ward off intruders. So when Krishna arrives to bring Naraka to book that one, he notices the vast horde of defenders in the city. He blows his conch and his thunderous notes strike terror in Mura, and not only to Mura and his sons. Then they take shelter in the deep, in the deep place where surrounded by a castle, believing that the enemy cannot break through the defense of the armor of sharp bolts extending on all sides. Krishna then, with his discus, with his Sudarshana, passes through all those places and against this obstructive barrier, because Sudarshana is the very powerful. Even any obstruction, Sudarshana can only remove. On any obstacle also, just by Jaya Jaya Sri Sudarshana, Jaya Jaya Sri Sudarshana, just by hail to Sudarshana, when you utter the name, immediately, you will really immediately Sudarshana. The word is Sudarshana, that is good vision. What is that good vision means? Immediately when you pray Sudarshana, your thought process immediately gives the immediate answer for the required situation. So these are all in a desperate bid to overthrow the advancing enemy. Mura and his valiant sons combine and mount a terrible attack on him, and Krishna commissions the discus to tackle them. So that is the Sudarshana and was taking care of all the enemies. That's why when any difficulty, any time, we always chant the Sudarshana Ashtakam. There is 8 verses of Sudarshana. And also Sudarshana Shatakam, we have 100 slokas by Kuranarayana here. These are very, with all Bijaksharams, and this is very powerful. In our Sripravachanagoshthi, our devotees, almost all, I can say, almost most of them, those who are listening, we got the word by word meaning of Sudarshana Shatakam, and also its purport, and they recite almost they recite every day as a part of their regular ritual. So it is so much such a Lord, exceptional martial prowess and entrancing beauty that Kulasekhara Alvar exhorts in his mind to cling to with earnestness and loyalty. That is important. With loyalty, Kulasekhara Alvar expresses his loyal behavior, for nothing else gives such a nectarine experience and meditation on the Lord's lotus feet. And even because their unshakable security, everyone wants safe and secure place, na? That is Krishna's beautiful lotus feet are the safe and secure place to keep our mind always. And also it gives everlasting peace and ineffable bliss, that is Brahmanandam. And in the next sloka that we will do tomorrow, Ma bhir mandagam mano vichintya bahuda Yame stiram yatana namina prabhavanti paparipavaha Swaminanu sridharaha Alasyam vyapaniya bhakti sulabham dhyayasva narayanam Lokasya vyasanapanodana karo dasasya kimna kshamaha. This we do today because it is so Ma-bhi, we are all without fear. Ma-bhi starts with no fear. Now the times of most of us are in the fear in our minds, whatsoever may be, with corona or some other life problems we are all having. So this Kulasekhara Alvars, he notices that mind, entertaining, you are having only foolish thought and making itself miserable on that score. So the fear is the one root cause of all bad things. Once the fear enters, your behavior changes totally and it leads to a bad behavior, and because these are all due to fear. So in first and foremost thing is to take care of the fear. That was Kulasekhara Alvar's Ma-bhi, and also Mandamano, foolish mind. Whose mind is foolish? Those whose mind is always go with fear. The fear enters in the mind, it becomes foolish. So making itself miserable on this one. And here Kulasekhara Alvar counsels it to abandon that apprehension of having fear. And these sins dare not do any harm. And because, why do we have fear? Oh, we might have done that mistake, we have done this mistake, or that apacharam, this apacharam, or that sin, this sin, all the things will come in our mind. And then once you abandon all these things, leave all these fears, and these sins dare not do any harm, they take fright and flee. Why? Because Lord Sridhara appears as its protecting savior. That is the beauty of this sloka is Sridhara Srimate Ramanjaya Namaha. Ma-bhi mandamano vichintya bahuda yami stiram yatana. Because when you do mistakes and all the things, we have some karma theory. Because of these mistakes, because of our sins, we have to suffer in the hell. So these, when the sufferings in the hell, when one thinks about that, then immediately fear starts coming in even in our regular offices also. Instead of working properly, they do some mistakes. Maybe intentionally or unintentionally, it may be mistakes happen. Then immediately they get frightened of that, what the boss will say, what are the consequences we have to face. Then they started finding out some wrong methods to come out of this mistake what they have done. But here the same. Mind once get fear. Fear is the root cause of all our downfall. That fear don't enter because he said, Swami Nanu Sridharaha, those who have faith in Krishna, those who have faith in, that's what Krishna Kulasekara Alva teaches us faith. Have faith in Lord. Have faith in Bhagavan. Whatever the way you want, I say Krishna, you may say another name, but it is you should have a faith in the powerful, the one who controls the universe. The one who controls the universe, you should have faith in him. Then once you have that faith, that like a faith healing therapy we always say, that faith itself can heal that all the situations that you face and it come to the normal one, your mind. This is the faith. So here he says now, and Nanu Sridharaha. Who is that Sridhara? The divine. Alasyam Yapaniya Bhakti Sulabham Dhyayasva Narayanam Lokasya Vyasanapanodana Karo Dasasya Kimna Kshamaha. Dasasya Kimna Kshamaha. Here it is. Lord takes interest in the mind which is engrossed in sins. Why should the Lord has to take interest in the mind which is engrossed in sins? That is simple. He is magnanimous in forgiving all our sins. He is magnanimous for forgiving our sins. And for the Divine Mother, that is Lakshmi, Sri is the word here, that is Divine Mother Lakshmi, is there ensconced in his bosom. Sri Dharaha. What is it? That is Sri Dhara. Dhara is the word, the one who bears Sri in his heart, in his chest, you can say. And her and her maternal love and solicitude for straying children will not permit her to remain passive. She pleads with the Lord, or she pleads with Bhagavan for their pardon and resources and secures here this sympathy. That's why Sri Dhara with Sri, and he is the one with the mother is always for compassion. He is the Lord, he is the creator, and he is the possessor. The entire universe and its creation belong to him. And his concern is to give them protection. He is quick in dispelling all the troubles and tribulations which comfort the whole world and its creatures. So, Kulasekara Alvar exhorts his mind not to waste time, but turn at once to Krishna with faith and devotion, and concentrate all your thoughts on Krishna as the sole refuge and savior. So Krishna needs no verbal solicitation because he is Narayana. This is very interesting. Dhyayasva Narayanam Bhakti Sulabham Alasyam Yapaniya Bhakti Sulabham Dhyayasva Narayanam. He is Narayana. The entire creation is within him and he is immanent in every creature. So the moment any person immediately think of him, he rushes speedily to him and grants him all his wishes. So then such is his magnanimity. It is strange that he provides immediate relief to those who surrender themselves to him in faith and devotion and who dedicate themselves to his service. Won't he protect them? This is the question. Kulasekara Alvar had that staunch faith in Krishna. So Kulasekara Alvar is quite certain that such gracious response will be forthcoming, and so exhorts his mind to concentrate its thoughts and dwell on Krishna's holy feet. That was always keep your mind always in good things and pray the name, and always chant the name of Krishna in a meditation. In meditation, that's what he says. Adopting such a course leads without fail to the attainment of Krishna. The Krishna's mercy, Krishna's blessings are always with us. This particular one, which gives us faith also, to have faith in Krishna and to also have the Krishna's blessings with us. And he is not only, he is the one Sridhara, in whose heart the merciful mother, the Lakshmi, goddess mother, the goddess, divine mother, Lakshmi, is in his heart. When mother is there, we always, in the Vaishnava Sampradayam, we have to approach Narayana through mother. So, the Krilsekhara Alvar knew these are the Vaishnava Sampradaya Vishayams, which Nammalvar explained in his Tiruvai which we are doing in the evening time, that we try to explain this Mukundamala, and also at the same time Bhagavad Ramanujas and Yamanacharyas we discussed today. These are all the things part of Tiruvai. Ultimately, these all roads lead to the same, in the same way. All the Vaishnava Sampradaya things, like a fountain, comes from the Tiruvai. So now we conclude this session and we do evening session at about 5 o'clock. We start with Hanuman Chalisa Yukta Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam. Because where there is any fear, any sort of things, there is Buddhir, Balam, Yaso, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, and Arogata, Ajadyam, Vakpadutvancha, Hanumat Smaranat Bhave. So we are doing regularly Hanuman Chalisa and Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Statram at 5 o'clock, and followed by our devotional song. Then we start our Nammalvar Prabhavam. Let's wait for that. Jai Ho. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.